specific going on besides, I know you're just overall tightness, 22 miles, I think will probably do that to you. I wouldn't know. Cool. Those are already part of our plan. Let's start in a child's pose, actually. So just come on down to the ground, knees wide apart, big toes together. Sink your hips back onto your heels. Let your forehead rest. You can wiggle back and forth a little bit, get settled in. And start to connect with your breathing, your body. We're not always so focused on just the sensations that arise in our body. We're usually just kind of interacting with the world around us. We're up in our mind. So take this moment to move out of your mind and into your body, into the experience of breathing in, of breathing out. Into any sensations that arise in the body. Letting your torso relax down towards the ground. Slowing your breath down even more so that each inhale is long and slow. Each exhale matches that inhalation. In depth and slow, long breath. Breath. Maybe bringing your focus to the balance between effort and ease, between resistance and fluidity of both. We resist, we work too hard, we become rigid, immovable. If we move with too much ease, we're soft to relaxed, we can't hold the pose. And the same is true in life. Find a balance between our resistance and our fluidity, our flow. Let's take one more deep, long breath here. And then slide your hands in, press into your palms, lift your hips up to tabletop. So taking your hips over your knees, hands under your shoulders, And let's take a few cat and cows. So as you inhale, lifting chin and tailbone, drop the belly. As you exhale, curve and round. Keep using those deep, long breaths to flow through. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, curving. And keep flowing with your breath. You can start to move into some more organic movement if it feels good to you. And keeping that intention in mind, noticing where you encounter resistance in the body, where you find a little bit more fluidity, where your body is feeling more open or more tense, and just noticing, maybe sending more movement into those places that might feel a little bit more stuck. And come to a neutral spine, engage your core, and then take your hands forward. Keep your hips over your knees, sink your chest towards the ground, forehead hangs towards the ground, but the arms stay active. Good, making sure the hands are about shoulders width apart. Sinking the chest towards the earth, so you're getting a chest opening, shoulder opening sensation. And just breathing into that opening. Your puppy pose, take another breath here. And then take your elbows to the ground, tuck your toes underneath your feet, and shift yourself forward, lift your knees off the ground. You're coming into a forearm plank, engage your core, super strong shoulders, feel your shoulder blades pressing out along the back, take your hips in line with your body. Good, take another breath. And then start to walk your toes towards your elbows. So keep your shoulders engaged as you walk your toes in. Your hips are traveling up. Good. Nice. And then walk your feet back out to your plank. We're going to pause in that plank again. Good. So your elbows should be underneath your shoulders here. Nice. Yeah. Good, starting to wake up our core muscles. Take a breath here. And then walk your toes back in towards your elbows. You're coming into your dolphin pose. Keep the hands pressing into the ground. Shoulders strong. Nice. You can move it. And then walk back out to your plank. We're gonna hold for another breath here, nice and strong. And one more time, walk your toes towards your elbows. Keep a kind of long stance this time. You don't have to walk in too far. And then look forward. Bend your knees, press into your hands, and just lift up into your plank. Nice. And then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Start to pedal through your feet, get a little movement here. Good, whatever feels good. You can shift your hips from left to right. Really finding the length in the spine. So even as you move the legs, keep lifting your hips up and back for that stretch along the spine. And then start to walk your feet in towards your hands. Soften your knees as much as you need to into your forward fold. And then keep your knees soft and just start to roll up one vertebrae at a time all the way up to stand. Coming here to your Tadasana, hands alongside hips, root down through your feet. In breath as you reach your arms up high. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, come to your forward fold, head is heavy. Inhale to lengthen your back. Exhaling, take the hands to the ground, press into your palms, walk back to your plank. And let's take the knees to the ground. Shifting your weight forward, bend your elbows back as you lower chest and chin, and then glide all the way down to the ground. Roll your shoulders back, squeeze your elbows in, lift through the crown of your head. The hands are light. Take another breath here. Really think about extending up and out through the crown of your head. Pressing back to hands and knees, all the way back to your downward facing dog. Deep breaths here, nice and long and deep. As always, if you need a child's pose, feel free to take it. And on your third exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhaling, soften. This time with a flat back inhale, rise all the way up, reach your arms high. Exhale, draw it in, hands to heart center. Continue to flow with your breath as you inhale to reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hands to the earth, step back to your plank. And this time, if you like, lower the knees or keep them lifted. Shift your weight forward, elbows squeeze in, chaturanga, 90 degrees. Inhale, up and out, coming to your back bend. Roll your shoulders open. Exhale, back downward facing dog. 3 deep, long breaths. In and out through the nose. And on your third exhale, walking feet to hands. Inhale, create space in the spine. Exhale, hinging. Inhale, all the way up, reach high. Exhale, draw it in, hands to heart center. Inhale to reach, keep flowing through. This time, reach up through your fingertips and gently lift your heart. Strong core as you come back to center, hinge from your hips, exhale down. Inhale to lengthen. Exhaling, bend your knees, plant your palms. You can either walk back to your plank or bending your knees, press your weight into your hands, hop back, land in chaturanga. Nice, moving through your vinyasa. Good. Opening through the shoulders, rise through the crown of the head, press back down dog. And breathing here. Let's take the feet together at the back of the mat and then roll up onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees really deeply and just take a stretch for a moment here. So you're lifting your hips up and back even as your knees are bent. So you're trying to lengthen the spine. You should get a nice upper back opening here. Breathing, one more breath. And then keep this shape. Look forward in front of your hands. Engage your core. And use the spring of your legs to hawk your feet forward towards your feet. Inhale, extension. Exhale to soften. Inhale, rise all the way up. Reach high. You can take another gentle back bend if you like. Exhale, back to center, hands to heart. And bend your knees, sink your hips, sweep your arms alongside your ears, coming into your chair pose. So no back bend here, engaging the core, tuck the tailbone. Shift your weight back into your heels, strong core. Maybe sit a little bit deeper. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bend, plant the hands on the ground. If you're hopping back, press into your hands, engage your core, feel it lift. Try to land in a strong chaturanga. Flowing through vinyasa of your choice. Making sure to move with your breath, whatever movements you're taking. Letting the vinyasa be led by your inhale, by your exhale. Externally rotating the upper arm, rolling the shoulders away from the ears in your downward dog. One more breath. And then if you like, take those feet together at the back of the mat, roll to the balls of the feet, bend your knees, looking forward in front of the hands, hop your feet. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to soften the knees and hips. Inhale to your chair pose, coming back in. Sinking a little bit deeper. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step or hop back. Vinyasa, moving through. Good. Press back to your downward facing dog, and on your inhale, lift your right leg any amount. Keep your hips square. And then let's bend the right knee, stack your right hip over your left. So you're opening up the right side body. Try to keep your shoulders square. Take another breath here. Exhale, square your hips, engage your core. Step your right foot through your hands. Wiggle it all the way forward. And then press through your left palm, through your left heel. Engage your core. Start to twist open, lift your right fingertips high. Following your fingertips with your gaze. If your right hip starts to lift up, try to roll it back down. Power up the left leg even more. Good. Take another breath here. Exhale, right hand to the ground. Step back to your plank. Your choice, downward dog or moving through chaturanga to your back bend. It's a downward facing dog. Meeting here as you inhale, lift your left leg, keep your hips square. And then bend the left knee, stacking left hip over right, opening up. Keep your shoulders square, weight even between the hands. Squaring your hips, step your left foot through your hands. Good. Energy out through your back heel. Power up that back leg. Right hand to the ground, start to twist open, left fingertips lift, following it with your eyes. If your left hip starts to lift up, try to roll it down towards the ground. Try to even the hips out. Nice. And notice if that left shoulder is coming close to your ear. Try to soften it down and away. Deep inhale. As you exhale, hand to earth. stepping back. Downward dog or flowing through a vinyasa. Good. Breathing in your downward facing dog. Bottom of your third exhale, step or hop your feet to your hands. And inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhaling, soften. Bending your knees, sink your hips. Inhale to your chair pose. Nice and deep. Use your core to support your back so you can lengthen the spine here. And then again, notice if your shoulders are coming towards your ears, soften them down. And then let's take the hands together overhead, lengthen your legs, lift through your fingertips, lift through your heart. Keep your core strong even as you lift your ribs up. Maybe gently back into a back bend. Strong core, come back to center. Exhale, hinge from your hips, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step or hop back. Good, moving through your vinyasa. Good, flowing through at your pace, move with your breath. Inhale, lift your right leg, square hips for a breath. And then let that knee bend. Right hip stacks over left, and then this time a little something different. Try to square your hips and taking that foot towards your left shoulder, look forward. So you're coming into a little bit more of a back bend here. Nice. Exhale, right foot comes through the hands. Left hand stays where it is. Peel those right fingertips up towards the sky. Follow it with your gaze. And this time we're going to sweep that right hand back towards the back of the room, down towards the ground. Engage your core. Lift both hands up. Coming into your crescent lunge. Finding your balance here. Tucking your tailbone. You need to bend that back knee in order to really get the body underneath you. And then as you find that core engagement, you can start to press through that back heel. Soft shoulders, lift through the fingertips. Nice. Deepen breath. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step back to your plank. Flow through your vinyasa or your downward dog. On your inhale, lift your left leg. Square hips first, and then bending the knee, let it open up for a moment. And then square your hips. Let that foot come towards the opposite shoulder, looking forward. So you're coming into a gentle back bend. Maybe not so gentle. Opening up the inner thighs. Take a breath here. And step your left foot through your hands. Good. Keep the inner thighs strong as you lift left fingertips high. Following it with your eyes. Engage your core. Left hand sweeps back, down towards the ground. Both hands lift up. Good. Finding your crescent lunge. Again, you can bend that back knee. Scoop your hips underneath you. Engage your core. Lift through the crown of your head. Lift through your fingertips. Once you have that super strong pose, you can start to lengthen through that back heel. If your tailbone comes way back behind you and you lean forward, try softening the knee again. Deep inhale. Exhale, take the hands down to the ground. Step back to your plank. taking a vinyasa or a downward dog. Long, slow breath. So either hang out in your downward dog or child's pose, or if you want to keep building heat, step or hop your feet to your hands. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale to soften, bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale to your chair pose. Good, nice and deep. Sink your hips back behind you as you lift through your fingertips. Take the hands together overhead, lengthen your legs, lift through the fingers, strong core, the ribs draw in towards one another, lift up through the heart, back bend. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, soften the knees, plant your palms, step or hop back. Flowing through your choice, linking breath to movement. Really try to find a strong 90 degrees in the elbows in your chaturangas. So instead of coming super low and dipping your shoulders towards the ground, try to keep it strong. And then lift up and out. Inhale, lift your right leg. Bend the knee. Take that foot towards opposite shoulder, lift the chin. Exhale, squaring your hips, step the right foot through the hands. Good, let's take one more time. Press through that left hand, sweep your right fingertips high. And then full circle with that right arm. Both hands lift up alongside your ears. And then this time, take the arms wide apart. And with that opening of the chest, lift the chest gently up towards the sky. A little back bend here. Really broad across the collarbones, strong core. Keep from collapsing in the low back by engaging the core. And spiral your arms open, take your back heel to the mat, warrior two. Sinking through your right hip, power up your back leg. Drawing the hips underneath you here as well. Warrior two, soften the shoulders, breathing deeply. Look down and make sure that your knee is tracking right over your toes. Long, slow breaths. Take a moment to get grounded here. And then as you exhale, cartwheel the hands to the ground. Step back to your plank. Downward dog or vinyasa. Think about that 90 degrees and then you just glide forward. Open up the back bend. When you're ready, inhale, left leg lifts. Bend the knee, left foot's coming towards your right shoulder as you lift through your chin. Step your left foot through your hands. Right hand stays where it is, left fingertips lift. Inhale. Spiraling that arm, full circle, the hands meet and rise. Good, find your strong pose first, powering through the legs. Take your arms wide apart, broad across the collarbones, lifting heart up and open. And then take your arms wide, back heel to the ground, warrior two. Swooping the tailbone underneath you, softening your shoulders. Long, slow breaths, super solid pose. Warrior two, veer Virabhadrasana 2. On an exhale, cartwheel your hands to the ground. Step back to your plank. Either Vinyasa or downward dog. Feel free to skip a Vinyasa if you need to. Or keep building heat if you like. Good. Breathing in your downward dog. Okay, this time let's inhale, lift your right leg, keep your hips square. And then just step your right foot through your hands. Drop your left knee down, untuck your left toes. Take your hands to your right knee. Scooping tailbone underneath you, lift through the crown of your head. And pausing here, so you're gonna feel a really deep stretch in that left hip. If you like, you can take your arms up high. And as you find yourself here, you might just play around with the idea of drawing the ribs in, engaging your core, and then you're lifting the entirety of the torso up, opening the chest, and just gently curving up and back. See how it feels. You can have your arms apart or together, whichever you like. And then use your core, come back to center. Take your arms wide, interlace your fingers back behind you. If you're feeling like it's a little too intense in that leg, power up the quads a little bit more so you're rising up out of the pose. Take your palms together behind you, roll your shoulders open and press through the knuckles. Pausing here, or you can start to come a little deeper, maybe taking those knuckles down towards the back of your left knee. Breathing here. Good. Using your abdominals, come back to center. Release that interlace. Plant your palms. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Step back to your plank, and let's just lift our hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step your left foot through. Right knee comes down, untuck those toes. Good. Squaring your hips, engaging through the legs. Come up, hands to knee. Tuck the tailbone underneath, engaging your core, lifting through the crown of your head. You're scooping underneath. You're gonna feel some sensation in that right hip, some opening there. If you like, maybe arms alongside ears. If lifting the arms means that you lose the integrity of the upper body, you can take them back to the knee or even down to the ground, maybe blocks. And then drawing the ribs in. Strong core, lifting up so it's like you're creating more space between your hip bones and your ribs. And then lift through the chest, gently arching back. Strong abdominals, bring you back to center. Sweep your arms down. Behind the back, interlace your fingers. Good, really power up the legs. So give your hip a little break there. And then squeezing through the palms, open the chest. From here, if you like to come deeper, you can take those knuckles down towards your back of your right knee. You can keep your chin to your chest, or if it feels good to you to drop your head back, feel free. A little bit more challenging with the balance there. Super strong core, strong low belly. Good. Broad across the collarbones. And come back to center. Release the hands, come down to frame the foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, step back to your plank, and either vinyasa or downward facing dog. Moving intelligently through your inhale, lift. Bend the knee. This time you're just stacking hip over hip. And then if you like, if you're feeling warm enough, you can let those right toes drop towards the ground behind you. Press into your right foot, lift your hips, lift your heart. Right arm alongside the right ear. Using your strong core, roll over that left foot, come back to center. You can step your right foot through, one fluid movement if possible. Good, let's sweep the right fingertips up. Creating that circle, the hands meet in front, lift alongside the ears, crescent lunge. Good, maybe we come into a back bend here. Exhale, warrior two, back heel to the ground, arms wide. Good. Take your back hand to your back leg, flip your front palm, start to reach up and gently back. Keeping space in the spine, so if you feel like you're collapsing through the left side body, really try to reach through those right fingertips even more. Exhale, right elbow coming down to the knee, left arm alongside the left ear. Stay here for a few breaths. If you want to come deeper, you can take those right fingertips down to the ground. For a little extra shoulder stretch, maybe you take that left thumb, flip it so that the palm is facing away, bend your left elbow and just reach it down towards your hip joint. Your right hip, yeah. And then roll your left shoulder open. Good. You can even have your left hand on top of your right thigh. Really gives you room to roll that left shoulder. Take another deep breath. And then release your left hand, reach it back up. Take it down to the ground, framing your right foot, step back plank. Downward dog or flowing through. You can always take a different version of vinyasa. You can take a cat and cow, take a child's pose. Let's inhale, lift your left. Bend the knee, open the hip. Stay here or let those toes drop towards the earth behind you. Pressing into your left foot, lift the hips, lift the heart. Strong core rolls you over that right foot, step your left foot through. Left fingertips sweep high. Make a full circle, sweeping back and forward. Arms meet and reach overhead. Good. Power through that back foot. Maybe you lift through the fingertips, gentle back bend. Exhale, back heel comes down, the arms spiral wide and open. Virabhadrasana. Look over your front fingertips. Back hand to your back leg, flip your front palm. Creating more space in the right side body. Lift through your left fingertips. Exhale, left elbow coming down. Right arm sweeps alongside the right ear. Torso is rotating open. And as you feel ready, maybe those left fingertips come down towards a block or the earth. You can reach your right hand up and then turn the palm away. Bend your right elbow. You're reaching down towards the top of your left thigh. And then you can roll your right shoulder open. You can use that meeting of the hand with the low body to really open the shoulder up. Okay, release your right arm and then lift back up to center to your warrior two. Turn your left toes in and then hinging from your hips, lean forward, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. Good. For your first few breaths, just let yourself hang here. Let your head be heavy, gently left. Notice where your weight is distributed. If it's way back in your heels, maybe try to even it out, come a little further into your toes. Take it back to your heels a little bit more. And then take an arm variation. So you might walk your hands forward like you're coming into a super wide-legged downward facing dog. And then just sink your chest towards the ground, or if you're looking for another really deep shoulder opener, you can take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, press your palms together, and then let those knuckles sink towards the ground. And whatever feels good here. If there's some other variation that you prefer, feel free. Find the ease here, the ease within your practice. Effort and ease, the balance between the two. If your hands are interlaced behind your back, release them down. And walk your hands in if they're forward. And let's walk our hands towards the front of the mat, turning those toes out. And then step back into your plank. And then take your knees to the ground. Take your elbows to the ground. The hands are forward. So you're pressing through the palms here. Your forearms are on the ground. Tap your toes and lift your knees. And then start to walk your toes in towards your elbows. Power up your shoulders. So you're coming into your dolphin pose here. And then just if you'd like to play around, maybe you lift one leg up towards the sky. Good. If that's as far as you want to go, just stay there. Keep powering up your shoulders. You can trade off legs. If you want to play around a little bit with coming into this arm balance here, you can just use the lifted leg to hop up a little bit, even if you just get a tiny bit of hover off of those toes. Feel free to play around. If you're feeling confident with your forearm stand, you're welcome to kick all the way up. If you want to be close to a wall, feel free. You can even use my mat. I will slide it over here if you want to play around for a moment with a little bit more support behind you. Nice. Really press down through all 10 fingers. Strong shoulders. You can look towards your thumbs. Nice. Good. Can you walk your toes in even further? Nice. Yeah, and then just lift one leg up first. And then use that one. Nice. Yeah, that looks awesome. Good. So the lifted leg is what gives you a little bit more lift out of that bottom leg. So the higher up you can get with that lifted leg, the less weight there's going to be in the bottom foot. So it's not even so much of a kick up, it's just starting to float off those toes. So if you want to play around for another couple moments, feel free. You can also come into your child's pose. Take a little breather in between. Good. Yeah, so think about putting as little effort into that kick as you can while still getting yourself up there, right? Yeah, so some of it is just flexibility. You have to get that toe kind of close to your elbows in order to get that other foot up high, right? Nice. Good, you're twisting just a little bit. So really think about having your hips square. So when you lift up, you're wanting to do this. And so then when, I'm exaggerating, but when you kick up, you still have just a little bit of that twist left. So really think about squaring the hips off, and that's gonna help you. Okay. We can always come back for inversions. Take a quick little child's pose. Give yourself a little break in between. Your torso soften. And the grand facade so soon will burn. Without a noise, without my pride, I reach out from the inside. And then powering up the hands, knees under your feet, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Walk or hop your feet to your hands. Just for fun, we're going to take a quick little arm balance. So plant your palms, bend your knees, look way out in front of your hands. Come up onto your tippy toes, slide your knees into your upper arms. And then even here, when you're still supported on hands and feet, start to round your upper back. Really engage your core. Look even further forward. Start to shift your weight into your hands. Keep your hands super active. Maybe you lift off one set of toes, maybe the other. Good, really bend your elbows as you're getting started here. Make a really good platform. I don't like to see so much pain. And really think about wrapping your elbows back so they're starting to kind of come out this way. Think about squeezing them in. You're using these little muscles right here. Nice, you guys. One more moment to play around. Shoot back to chaturanga if you like. Nice. Otherwise, make your way to your downward facing dog, however you so choose. No rush. Good. Vinyasa if you like. Without a noise, without my pride, I'll reach out from the inside. All right, step or hop your feet to your hands. Soften your knees, and this time just roll up super slow. You can shift your weight from side to side. Give a little shake as you come up. Take your weight into your left foot, bend your right knee, and reach back for the big toe side. And then you can really just squeeze that heel in towards your hips first. And just find a really tall, long stance. Enjoy the stretch along the front of that quad first. Rooting down through your standing foot, standing tall. Let's take our left hand to our heart. Okay, taking that hand back to the big toe edge. Roll your shoulder open. Think about that broadening across the chest. As you start to lift the foot up, try to keep lifting through the crown of your head. Start reaching through your left fingertips. Keep squaring your hips. Hold for a few breaths. Up and down whenever you're ready. Give yourself a moment here, both feet on the floor. And you're shifting your weight over to your right foot. Bend your left knee, just reach back. You can squeeze heel to hip, stand up super tall, tuck your tailbone, finding length in the front of that quad. And notice if one of your hips is lower than the other. So if you're kind of sitting into that standing leg, really press down to rise up. Nice. Oh my gosh, you're just all straightened out so much. Okay, roll your hand to the big toe edge. Take your right hand to your chest. Roll your left shoulder open. Start to press that foot up and back. Keep lifting through the crown of your head as you reach your right fingertips forward. Hips are square, core is strong. Think about this opening up in the upper back. So it's a back bend in your upper back, even more so than your low back. Slow breaths, finding pose here. Soften, come into a forward fold. Keep the left hand where it is. You can gently bend your right knee and then peel your right fingertips up towards the sky. Just a little twist, following the fingertips of the knees. Oops, I told you the wrong leg to bend. Bend your left knee, lengthen your right leg. I was even doing it too. Good, take another breath. And then switching sides. Right hand comes down. Left fingertips peeling up. Your right knee bends, your left leg straight. Outer hip open. Soften your knees, press through your hands, and either hop back or walk back, finding a flow or a downward dog. Let your inhale, lift your right leg. Bend the knee, open the hip. If you are craving another flip here, you can let those toes drop back behind you. Lift your hip, lift your heart. Nice. Using your core, you're gonna come back to center. Try to keep that right leg lifted and then bending the knee, slide the knee through your hands. Use your back toes to square your hips. Lift through the top of your head. Start to walk yourself forward. So you can take a block under that right hip if you need a little bit more support there. A block or two. Releasing any tension that's not needed in the pose. Relaxing your shoulders, your hips. Keeping a little bit of flexion in that right foot to protect your knee. It's really the only tension that's needed. Otherwise, just ease into it. Imagining that your exhales are melting all the muscles of the back. little back bend. Start to walk yourself up. And then you're gonna tuck your back toes and just scoot that knee a little bit more back and then bend your knee. And then reaching back, take your hand to your ankle. And then maybe you sneak it into your wrist, maybe all the way to the elbow. And then try to square your hips, square your torso forward. Engage your core, lifting up. Maybe the right hand reaches. You can bend that elbow, reach back. Maybe fingers connect. Really lift up through the chest. And this might be your thought for the day. If you wanted to come even deeper, you can try holding onto the toes, flipping that elbow up towards the sky, and then reaching back. You can hold just the elbow or the wrist behind you, or maybe taking hold of the toes. You really want to squeeze your elbows towards one another. Take the opening into the chest. Nice. Make sure there's no tension in the back here. Try to create a really nice, easy arch. You're going to do that by really opening up the chest, taking the opening up and higher. Slowly. You've been holding it for a little bit. Release. Maybe come back into that full pigeon pose for another breath. And then walk your hands in. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, slide to a plank. Lift your hips up and back, downward dog. Take your feet together at the back of your mat. Roll up onto the balls of your feet. Deeply bend your knees and reach your hips up and back. Just a little stretch for your upper back. Let it feel good. And then lengthen back out into your downward dog. Inhale to lift your left leg. Bend your left knee, stacking hip over hip. If you'd like to take that flip dog, let the foot drop behind you. Lifting hips and heart. Coming back through center, left hand to the ground. Bend your left knee, slide the knee through the hands. Using your back toes to square your hips. Lift through your torso and then extend over that left leg. A little bit of energy in your left foot. And then otherwise, seeing how much you can relax. How much you can soften towards the ground. Long, slow breaths. Releasing tension from your shoulders, hands, jaw. Stay here or start to rise up. Draw that right knee back just a little bit further and then bend the knee. Reaching back for the ankle. Open the shoulder up first. Sit up nice and tall. And then maybe you're moving that ankle to wrist. Maybe to the crook of your elbow. Square your hips, square your chest, engage your core. Maybe the left arm lifts. Bend that elbow. Fingers might come together overhead. Starting to feel any Traction in the low back. Try to square your hips more. Try to sit up taller, taking it into your chest, into your shoulders. You want to come into that next variation. Take hand to foot. You flip your elbow up towards the sky, and then you reach back with your left hand. You can hold elbow or wrist or toes, and then you flip your grip so that you're just holding your toes. Really open up through the chest. Come back down to the full sleeping pigeon pose for another breath. Shoulders and back rest. Into lift up on an inhale. Your hands in. Press through your palms. In fact, let's take our weight over to our left hip and then just sweep your right leg forward. Take your knees up towards the sky, hands behind the legs. Shifting your torso back, engage your core. Lift your legs. Good. Drawing your belly in and up. Try to lengthen the torso even more. Maybe you release the hands. Maybe even straightening the legs. A couple breaths in our boat pose. You want to distract yourself, maybe tapping your toes down, maybe opening the pose up, and then drawing it back together. Take that a few times if you like, a little more challenge. Feel your belly button pulling in towards your spine. So instead of kind of tenting up, really feel it draw in and back. And then hands behind the knees, take your feet down, knees apart, soles of the feet together. Shift your weight side a little bit, and then start to walk your hands forward. That just feels good. Feeling open in your hips, you can come down to your elbows. Let your head be heavy. Your buttocks. Cross at the ankles and roll forward to hands and knees. And then take your feet wider apart, your knees together. Walk your hands back to your calves. Roll your calves out to either side. Start to sit yourself back onto the earth or block or two blocks. If you have tight knees or quads, you might need some support here. Sitting up nice and tall. This might be as far as you go if this is enough of a stretch here, or you can start to walk your hands back behind you, maybe even coming down to elbows, or coming all the way down onto the ground. You can reach your arms up overhead if you want to come even deeper, maybe reaching through the fingers. You could hold elbows. Breathing. Slow breath. to the abdominal. Your arms are up overhead, take them alongside your body. And then bending the elbows, press into your elbows, lift your chest up. And then walk up to your hands. And walk yourself forward, come back to hands and knees. Cross at the ankles, we're coming back through. Bend your knees, soles of the feet to the ground, reach your fingertips forward and roll. Oh, so slowly onto your back. And walk your heels in even closer to your hips, so you should be able to touch them with your fingertips. And then pressing into the soles of your feet, so make sure your feet are about hips width apart. And then pressing into the soles of your feet, tuck your tailbone and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Take your hands together underneath the low back, interlace your fingers, and then walk your shoulder blades underneath your chest, so you're really lifting through your sternum. This might be as far as you come today, or if you want to play around with lifting one leg at a time, feel free. So you have to take your feet a little bit more narrow and really engage your inner thighs. Feel your inner thighs squeezing towards one another. Your core is strong. Your hips are lifted. And you lift one leg at a time. Just an option. And then when you're ready, release those hands, walk the shoulder blades out, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Let's hug our knees into our chest and just rock a little side to side. Start to rock in circles, so like you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your knees, massage for your low back. So this round, if you'd like to take another Setu Bandhasana, another bridge pose, you can do so. If you want to take a supported bridge pose, there's blocks at the back of the room. If you don't already have one, you can set the block in the low, the medium, or the high position underneath your sacrum. Or if you want to come into your full wheel pose, your feet are hips distance apart, knees are bent, heels are close to your hips. Taking your hands alongside your ears, squeeze your elbows in towards one another. And then start to press into your hands, into your feet, lift your chest up, lift your hips up. Good. And as you find your wheel pose, keep trying to press the chest back through those shoulders. So you want more opening in the upper back, more opening across the chest. Good. Make sure that your toes are pointing forward. Yeah, nice. Engage through your inner thighs. Stay for a few breaths. Come down whenever you're ready. Take another round if you like. Again, you always have other options. If you've had enough back bends, you can take an inversion of some kind. You might take a shoulder stand. This round, if you're taking your full wheel, again, you can play around with lifting one leg, or another idea, you can come down to your forearms. You can play around with coming down to the forearms. You can also lift a leg in your forearm back bend too. Nice, really strong shoulders. really open shoulders. That looks awesome. Good. When you're ready to come down, give yourself a little hug, roll those knees into the chest, and rock a little side to side. And then take your arms wide open, knees come over to the right, gaze to the left. If you want to come deeper, you can take your hand over the knees, you can lengthen the top leg if you like. Any variation that feels good. Long, slow breaths. Feel your hips and shoulders heavy. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, engaging the core, draw your knees back to center. And the knees come over to the left. Gaze to the right. Really open that right arm out and down. Feel your shoulders rotating open. You can take your left hand over the knees if you like. You can straighten the top leg if that feels good. You can even catch the toes with your left fingers if that's accessible to you for a little outer hip stretch. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, engaging the core, bend the knees, come back to center. Open the knees out and up, flex your feet towards the sky, coming into your happy baby pose. You can hold wherever is accessible for you, but keeping that tailbone opening down towards the ground. So if you need to hold behind your knees or at your ankles, you can do that instead. And rock a little gently left and right, hip opening. Give you one moment for any final pose you want to take before our Savasana. If you want to revisit anything from earlier on in class, feel free. Or if you're ready to be a little bit more passive, you can stay here on the ground, maybe taking goddess pose, taking your knees wide apart, soles of the feet together, your legs just resting on the earth. Take your right hand to your chest, left hand to your belly. Just feel your breath flowing. You're going to get upside down and play around with those forearm stands again. Whatever your body is asking you for, instead of what you're asking your body for. rock forward even more. Just be like, I know I can't
Trust
face
Casie.
plant because I'm right here. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, any little counter poses that you need from that last pose you were taking if you're being a little more active? And then as you're ready, make your way all the way down to your mat. If you're in that goddess pose and you want to stay there for your savasana, feel free, or lengthen the legs out along the mat. Arms alongside the body. Reconnecting with your breath for a deep inhale through the nose. And then as you exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Take that again as you inhale deeply. On your exhale, really let yourself hear it coming out. Feel your whole body relaxing down. Let's take one more deep inhale through the nose, nice and slow. Exhale, let it all go. Release, relax down. Feeling your whole body soften into the earth. Feeling any thoughts drift away.
There is a house built out of stone, wooden floors, walls and window sills, tables and chairs warmed by all of the dust. This is a place where I don't feel alone. This is a place where I feel at home.
Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Finding gentle movement in the fingers and the toes. And then as you're ready, reaching through the fingertips, lift up overhead, stretching from the top of the body to the bottom of the body. And slowly bend your knees, rolling over to one side. Use your arms to press yourself to seated. Hands at heart center, eyes closed. Taking a moment of gratitude for all that you brought to your own practice and for all that your practice may have brought to you tonight. Closing with the sound of one Om. We'll deeply inhale. Namaste.
There's so much body awareness. I'm like, oh my God, I need to work on everything.
That last song was Sugar Rose, right?
I didn't even notice.
Ooh, this one sounds good. This is called
Oh my God,
Tridosha. Fennel,
you.
coriander, ginkgo leaf, licorice root, mint, and safflower. That sounds delicious. Good job, you guys.
I know all of Casey's music, so
The ones that I use frequently, yeah. Well,